What's up guys, it's Sensei here, back again with another video. In this video, the topic I wanted to discuss, we'll put it this way. If you want to chisel a new statue of yourself, you must have new materials and you must have a new artist who does it. Meaning this: if you want to progress into the new version of yourself, into a better version of yourself, you can't just change, even 1, 2, 3, 4, even 10 things. Well, 10 things maybe. You have to change basically everything. So when we want to change, we may think, okay, we actually need to cut down on the alcohol or perhaps even get fully sober. And another obvious thing would be like, okay, I need to change my friend group because maybe they're not on the same path as me and they just want to mess around and go to the pub all the time. And when I decide not to go, they complain that I'm not being fun, that type of thing. It can actually go pretty deep. It can go deeper than that. It can go to your posture. Your posture has to change. It can go to the clothes you wear. You have to formulate a new identity. It could be the shoes. It could be the haircut if you think you need a new one. It could be moving. It could be, the way that you practice your self-care routine. Maybe you have to implement some sort of spirituality in there, like meditation or something. Now you have to be aware of the root of your thought patterns and changing your belief systems, which is extremely tough, but everything has to change, man. You can't change, okay, I moved here, done this, but I still talk to my toxic parent. You gotta cut that off, baby. If it's causing you more harm than good, and you feel intuitively that it's not right for you, you gotta cut it off, man. You gotta cut it off. And that's a big one. I think feeling and intuition, we always discard it. We always ignore it. We're always taught to think logically, or to think what's out there, what we don't utilize our imagination, our creativity. We're always taught to focus on the physical. So you have to also be aware of your feelings when it comes to this stuff. I'll give an example. I mentioned in one of my previous videos the issues regarding over-sexualized content, or also pornography, and how it's greatly impacted my life in profoundly negative ways. Well, this is what I noticed. I love my life. There's a lot of great stuff going on. Of course, there's issues here and there. However, I'm quite satisfied with it. I am quite satisfied with it. And it's not like, oh my God, I feel like I'm settling. It's like I'm comfortable. Nah. Like, there was high risk and there was high reward. However, the one thing that does hold me back, the one thing that still doesn't allow me to reach, the new version, is watching that content and still engaging with it. Granted, it's not as much, but it's still there. That addiction is still wired my brain. I noticed that whenever I relapse, my heart feels painful. My heart feels painful every single time I relapse. I don't know if it's like a chakra, but like it feels like so. It's not even that like it's painful. It's like, oh my God, my chest hurts. It's like it's saddened. It's like a broken heart. That's what it feels like. It feels like a broken heart physically. And that's a sign that it's hurting you. And that's just in my experience. In your experience, you can have different things that you need to address. It could be even the relationship you're in. Maybe the girl is not right for you. You feel that pit in your stomach. Something is wrong, something needs to change, or you might be ignoring it. I don't know. The point is that we all feel it. and it has to change in order to grow. And it's so terrifying. It's really terrifying to make change. And our brain comes up with these absolute delusional and illogical reasons why we can't change. For example, I'm attempting to go on a really strict dopamine detox. So one of these things would be not using social media at all, because I don't really use social media yet for creative purposes. I don't really post on there or to generate income or anything. So there's no reason for me to use it. However, my brain is afraid of letting it go. And it's weird because I barely post on it. But sometimes people might text me out of the blue that I knew a little bit, but we're not really in contact that much. And I'm afraid that I won't be able to see them. And it's like, why do I care? Or to text them back. And it's like, why do I care? It's because your brain is afraid of changing, man. That was my case. It's afraid of letting go. But you have to. And it's not easy, man. Like you have to fight in every way possible to make it happen. It's something you have to fight for. It's really something you have to fight for. And you have to also address that fear, because it's completely normal to have that fear. But strength is not the absence of courage. Or courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is when you still feel the feelings of fear, but you don't let it prevent you from taking action. That's what courage is. So it's normal to have those feelings, but you have to get to the root of it and deal with it. When something is causing you anger, when a physical environment is bringing down your energy, when a friend does something you don't like, you have to cut it off. When you feel like, you just don't want to go out on the Fridays anymore and get shit-faced all the time because it's actually not doing you any good. It's sucking all your energy for the day after as well because of hangovers, time, money. Also, it could be health. Well, health, obviously, but even just like sexual health. Maybe you're taking really risky sexual decisions. So when it comes to stuff like this, like you have to put a firm no on it, and you can't be afraid of losing it or you will never change. What's that quote by Theo Von? I don't know if it's by Theo Von, but I heard it from him. Legend. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So guys, everything has to change. Like, yeah, you can keep one vice once in a while, but it really has to be something that's almost not even considered a vice. Like, everyone knows what their demons are, but it has to be not even considered a vice. And this is just if you want to reach your higher version. Like if you just want to remain the same or still be or have these negative tendencies or vices, you can make that decision. We all have our thing, but I personally don't want that anymore. So that's my problem too. It's not a problem, but that's one of my things too, is just learning how to address all aspects. Like you can't just quit one thing and then still do everything else. A lot of times it's like a trickle effect. Once you quit one thing, you also have to, sometimes it can unintentionally affect others. Like for example, if you abstain from a lot of really primitive urges that are negative to yourself, like for example, engaging in pornography, then you will notice that your discipline has actually gone up. So that may result as a consequence of you perhaps saving more money, being more financially disciplined, being more disciplined with your nutrition, your exercise routines, just your daily habits in general. But you have to look at each piece of the puzzle and treat it as, and you want to make each of them fit. You can't just neglect one. When you build a structure, yes, of course, some things are more important than others. Some materials are more important than others. Some are more useful, some are more effective. But everything has to come together in order for the building to be sculpted correctly, in order to ensure that there's no risk of negligence, like when it's going to just collapse for no reason or something. So you have to look at each piece. You can't build an invention like when you assemble Lego or whatever. It could be Lego, it could be some sort of tool. You just have to put each piece in, and maybe you can forget one or two, but it won't function as good. So you have to address everything at once. And I know it's hard. We're human, we make mistakes, but that's extremely important. And I feel like a lot of people don't tell us that. They tell us to just, for example, if you're broke, make money. Find ways to increase your income. It's like, yes, we know that. However, if you get good at talking to girls, if you get good at talking to people, formulating relationships, you become very physical fitness oriented. So you craft an incredible physique. So now the world looks at you a certain way. They treat you with more respect. That's also a way to make more money. Because some people, they just focus on making money, but they're fat slobs and they die of a heart attack at 50. Because they were just in the office all day making, sure, maybe like 200K a year or more, or 100K a year, whatever. But they lost their health. They lost their mind. And sometimes you do need to make sacrifices, but you can't go all the way. Anyways, guys, that's just what I wanted to share. Make sure you address all parts of the puzzle. Peace.